Single mom taking her baby on her first flight. But she never thought she'd find a billionaire father for her child. Zena was taking the kids to the bathroom. The plane suddenly shuddered. Just as she was about to fall, Fadi grabbed her in his arms. When she was stabilized, Annie turned her back on him. She blamed Carl for hugging her. When she tried to go back to the economy class, she realized that the men were not welcoming the child in her arms. And Carl didn't hold a grudge. He said he liked children, so Annie sat next to Carl. It's easy to fall asleep on a boring airplane. Carl noticed that Annie was sleeping soundly. He took the baby in his arms and took care of it. He asked the stewardess to prepare milk for the baby. When Annie woke up, Carl and she introduced themselves to each other and made small talk. He heard she was a single mom. Carl had a bold idea. When he got off the plane, Carl finally came up with his idea. His parents had forced him to marry someone he didn't like. They wanted Annie to be his fake wife for 6 months to delay the wedding. Annie was also worried about how to explain the baby to her parents. While she was hesitating, the child suddenly called out for his father. He's so smart since he was a kid. The name of his father directly saved him from a lifetime of struggle. So Carl picked up his son and left, and had to follow in silence. Soon Carl took her to his own large estate. Annie was amazed at the villa in front of her. Entering the house was even more splendid. The parents had prepared a welcome ceremony for Carl's return. His fiancée was all dressed up to welcome him home. While they were discussing when the wedding would take place, she interrupted them with the baby in her arms. She ignored the confused crowd. She showed them how to change the baby's diaper. First, she showed her favorite animation. She had her rich dad hold her cell phone. Then she handed the diaper to the rich mom. And then she talks about how cute her son is. It's like she's in her own home. Then she took the diaper from the rich mom. Asked Carl where the restroom is. Carl had no choice but to point her in the right direction. The rich mom who reacted. Then she remembered to ask who this woman was. Carl was at a loss as to what to do. Suddenly the child called out for his father again. When the rich mom heard that, she fainted. When she woke up, she was furious again. She asked her son how could he do such a thing. The rich man's father said that it had already happened. That woman is now their daughter-in-law. And Carl's mother didn't like Annie. I will never recognize her as my daughter-in-law. Annie was lamenting. The sinks in their house are all made of gold. When she hears that Carl's father is treating her son like a grandson, she confronted Carl. How could you? At the airport, I agreed to be your fake wife. I didn't say the baby was yours. And when I leave, will your family let my child go? Carl explained. It's your child who keeps calling me father. Annie wants to go and explain to Carl's family. Carl begged for more time. At that moment, her sister came to call Carl for dinner. She saw them coming out of the bathroom together. She thought they were doing something shy in the bathroom. During the meal, the most powerful grandmother in the family finally appeared. Everyone stood up. Grandma stared straight at Annie, who wasn't standing. Annie then reacted and stood up. To break the ice, the sister asked how they met. The two of them gave different answers. Annie changed her story. And then, as she got more and more excited, she made up a whole story. Carl kicked her in the ass to stop her from going on. But no matter what she said, her family still had trouble accepting her. So she drank her own soup. But then the family started staring at her again. Until Grandma said, "Let's eat." And everyone dared to eat their soup. But only Carl noticed that Annie had already taken a bite of bread. He thought to himself, what a funny girl.